In a fun junk journal dream, DJ's crafting grungy scenes. Hither and yon, where friends all meet. Paper glue and vintage treats.
Hey there, crafty friends! How are you? Welcome to Hither and Yon Studio, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I have a little fun make session today. I created a brand new kit. It's an ephemera building kit. I have a couple of other ones in the shop. This one is called Field Notes Sketchbook. And if you've worked with one of my previous ephemera building kits, then you know all about it. But for those of you who do not, I'll just kind of go through what it is. I wanted to show you it in its full form, and then I'll cut it out and come back and we'll start to make some fun ephemera. And it's really beginner friendly. So if you've not built your own ephemera, or you kind of are feeling a little intimidated by layering and building up tags and journaling cards and hidden paper clips and doing stuff like that, then you're going to love this video because it's going to be so much fun. Okay, so here is the kit. You get 11 pages of these pieces that you can cut out and use to layer and build and make your own ephemera bits. You can make tags and journal cards and just tabs for the ends of your journals, clusters. We're going to make some fun stuff, so stay tuned. I'll go through the pages though real quick. So you got this one and all these little pieces cut out, and I make them really easy to cut out so that you can, just kind of get in there. And look, they're field note sketches, kind of like, a notebook out in the field notes. You guys know what field notes are. So all these little bits are super fun. They're going to be so fun to stack. And then these are great for backgrounds. You can cut them up and make tags out of them, cut them in half and make them into journaling cards with layers of stuff on them. You can fold them in half and make a journal cover, a mini journal cover, or a notebook or something like that. Same here. And they all kind of go together. I think this is a duplicate. Nope. Okay. Yeah, they're all meant to work together and give you that kind of woodland foresty feel. These are just some strips with moss and tree bark and different woods that I thought would be fun to work together. And you can kind of tear them up or leave them as they are, up to you. And then just some layering bits. I thought this is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Lots of words, woodsy words, in 2 different fonts and 3 different colors. And then some more bits. And then these are your bonus pages. They're like these sketchy, florally woodland type of pages. Look at that fun guy, huh? Okay, so you saw the pages. And I only printed on the back of these ones that might be really good as cards because I figured it would just be easier than leaving it white. The rest are going to layer down, so I'm not that worried about it. So let me go cut these out and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Or a second. All right, so I'm back. I got a little frog in my throat, so you have to excuse my voice. I don't know, I think I'm getting a cold or something. I cut out all the pieces, and you can see there's quite a few. All the words. So we'll put them up to the side here. I just separated them out by the actual sketched animals and flowers. These are all the background bits and extra little frames and things like that. And so I'm just going to take these off camera. And then these are kind of the longer bits. All the strips of the bark and moss pieces. So put them. And then I have the journal card sizes. So they are separate. These 2 bigger ones, which were like that. And then I didn't do anything with these. I'm not sure how I'm going to use them yet, so we'll just keep them off to the side. And yeah, so let's get started. I also have just a few bits out of my neutral box of neutral papers. It's got all sorts of stuff. If you don't have this, just use what you have. You know, obviously you're not going to have what I have. But if you don't have like vintage journal pages and coffee dyed paper, just use the scraps that you have. So that's what I mean. I also have a few tabs that I punched out for one of the items that we're going to make. You don't need this side tab, and you can just use a folded over piece of paper. You don't have to actually have a tab to do this. I have a piece of vellum, but you could use a piece of tracing paper if you don't have vellum, or a piece of waxed paper. Just use something that's similar. It's really just to kind of make the make and then get your hands involved in some tasks for the muscle memory. Okay. So the first thing we're going to make is going to be like a little pocket with a piece of vellum, and it's super easy. I'm just going to pick one of these at random. Doesn't really matter which one. I'll choose this one. And I'm going to take a piece of vellum and measure it to the same width. And actually, let's go this way. We're just going to make a vellum pocket in there. Need a pencil. Mine's already kind of torn because it was a scrap. This has no ink in it, or no lead in it, rather. All right, so I want to kind of cut this off here. So I want the piece to be the width of the piece that's in the background. And then we have to figure out how high we want it. I think like that for a pocket. You can decide for yours. And actually, this is a little clean, so I want to kind of make it more bumpy, more mountainous. I do not like when it does that, so let me cut that. When it gets too square like that, I don't know, just not my thing. There we go. All right, and I'm going to cut it off, I don't know, about there. You can tear it, whatever. It's up to you. And then, so this is going to be a pocket, and we could put, you know, kind of something in the background so that it's not so overwhelmingly mossy. I like it, but I just want to kind of cover up some of that. So let me see what I have over here in my stash. I have a piece of this handmade paper that I can kind of cut down. Of course, after I put my trimmer away. Actually, my trimmer does a horrible job on this paper, so let me just cut it by hand. And maybe somewhere around here. And you could certainly tear yours if you want a more torn look. Just kind of rough this up a little. Probably just should have torn it to begin with. All right, so that's going to go like there. Now it's too even here. All right. And I'm going to ink mine, but you don't have to. I'm going to use my vintage photo, which I love. I'm also going to ink the vellum. But first, I want to round these corners. And I am going to put a stitch around the outside, but you certainly do not have to do that. You can just glue it down with some, regular glue. You will see bits of glue through some vellum. You can use some double-sided tape, but I found that you also see that. So it's up to you what you want to do. So let me ink this, and then I'm going to sew it around the outside with this on it. But first, let's glue this down. And these are super quick. If you don't sew, they go even faster. I'm just going to use my art glitter glue mix. All of this is on my website under the frequently asked questions page. My favorite glue, my favorite paper. I don't know why this is misbehaving. Okay, there we go. I actually use a glue mix, so that's what's over there. And this handmade paper I make myself from my scraps and cut-offs. I'm hoping to do a video on that in the future, so stay tuned. Now that the nice weather's here, I can do it outside. It'll be a lot easier. Okay, and this is kind of going to go over the top like that. So let me just sew it quick. Okay, so there's our scrappy little stitched pocket. And now we're just going to put a little tab on the top. That's it. And then you'll have a little pocket to put some goodies in. And it's super quick, super simple. You can make it as complex as you want to, obviously. I have these little pieces that I tore off, so I'm just going to fold one over that tab to give it, I don't know, just a little something extra. You could use some washi here too. That would work. Oh, and we got to ink the other side because I didn't do any, I didn't put any background on here. Oop. Just a little something. You could punch a hole in it also, dangle something off of it if you'd wish. And this is our first piece. Super easy. So that's how the kit works. You basically use the pieces to build out some ephemera and bring in some other items from your stash. Let's turn this into a tag. I have a tag top maker. This little punch from We Are Memory Keepers. I believe it's down in the description box. And it just takes the edge off. You can see it better on this side. But you can just cut them on your own. And I like to round my corners so they go into the pockets easier. So now you have a little pocket with a little tag. And you can dress these up a lot more, guys. You do whatever you want to. So that's one. All right, moving on. So number 2 is a little piece that you can put on the side of your page. It works it's a hidden paper clip, but we're going to take this piece. So this is one of the more rectangular pieces. And I'm going to fold it in half. And then I need a scrap to go underneath that's approximately the same size. You can go a little smaller. That's fine. I need something that has some sturdiness to it. So I'm just going to get a scrap that's more of a, a little more sturdy. So this is a brown paper bag. And let's just cut this slightly smaller. You're not going to see the other side really, so I'm not that worried about the white here. This will make a cool ticket, so maybe we'll do something like that with that one. Keep them in my pile. And then we'll fold this one in half. And I'm going to use 2 paper clips on this hidden paper clip. Usually you would use 1, but because it's so wide, I want to have 2 so that I don't lose the strength. All right, so I have these and I have 2 of these. Let's see which one works best. So you don't want your paper clip to stick out, so these will work fine. And they're really big, so they're strong. Okay, I am going to clip the corners. Here too. Now you could also put this over the top. Actually, should we do that? Ooh, that'd be cool, because then we can add some decoration on here. So I'm just going to cut this down a little bit to make it just, well, actually, let's see, can I? No, not really. That's okay. Let's ink this. And bring in pieces from your own stash. Okay, these, you know, you don't have to necessarily just use everything in the kit, obviously. And then we'll just let me do the inside of this, because you will see a little bit, it's very obvious, so. But if you print on the other side, it won't be. Sometimes, though, you'll see the white core. So if you don't want to see that, you can go ahead and ink it. I'm going to use my Fabrifix to glue this down. Actually, I'll put the glue on here. Always put the glue on your smaller piece. And I'm just going to make sure I get some on the actual paper clips. And just make sure everything is glued down. You don't want to press really hard on the paper clips, because then that makes them really obvious that they are there. You'll see the actual outline in that. So I try to just press around and gently kind of tap here. Okay, and to decorate the front, ooh, look at you. He's a little big. How about this guy, the cardinal? We'll put him on there, and let's get, what do I want? A little piece of brown of something to cover my glue first. Maybe a strip of this. Or I could take this and kind of offset it. Let me cut a little bit off of that. And save these little bits because they're really good for small spaces. I'm thinking something like that, and then I'll put a word on it. So let's ink it. And sewing could be added here as well, maybe on these pieces, up to you. So very easy. We're just kind of offsetting it like that. You guys can definitely do this. It's very beginner friendly. Let's find the word we're going to use. Shaded Grove, Vintage Wilds, Rustic Moment, Timeless Woods. Let's use Timeless Woods. And I'm just going to cut it down some. My other scissors are upstairs. I forgot to bring them back down. I was fussy cutting. Sure. Let's see. That kind of works. Like that. And then I wanted to put another tab up here. Then you could put it at the top of the page. Now you could also do it this way. Actually, why don't we do it that way? I think it'll work better for us. Yeah, let's do it this way, long ways. And we'll put this little tab on the side. I don't know, I just grabbed these out of my stash. But you can also make one. I'll just show you quick with a scrap, in case you've never done that before. So this one's too wide. Hold on. Make it a little less wide. All right, so you can take any piece of paper and fold it in half. And then you're just gonna, if you have a punch for this, it's good. You're just gonna take off the corner like this in like a, now you can go a straight line. Let's just do a straight line. It's probably easier. You can just go like this. And then I just saved this piece, and you can go over here and cut a similar one. Okay, and then you have a little tab that can go on your piece here. So you can make your own. Super simple. I'm going to use the one I inked, but I wanted to show you that in case you don't have a punch like this. I got a punch on Temu that makes these whale tail-esque type punches, tabs. And yes, I'm covering up my tab and I'm kind of going off the edge. It just makes it look a little less tidy, which you guys know I love. And then we'll just put Timeless Woods over here. Let me just glue this down. You could also just stamp a background on there if you wanted to give it a little more oomph. You could emboss this piece with an embossing folder. There we go, number 2. And you can see we still have a ton of stuff, so we can just keep going. You can make multiples of the same thing. The next one is super easy also. I'm going to use a round punch, but if you don't have a round punch, you can use whatever punch you have. So we'll do 2, and I'll show you one with the round punch, and then we'll go do another one. So you take your round punch, and then you get a piece. Let's use, I want to use this. It's a big piece. I don't want to waste it. Let's see. What else do I have? Do 2 from here. And then 1 from another piece. We'll use this one. I was going to use this as a ticket. It's fine. Oop, it's a little small. You get the idea. It's clean. Okay, let's ink these. So we have 3 holes. Hole punches, circles. Hole punched circles. Oh my goodness. Actually, I don't have to do the other side because these normally go down on the page. So all right, so we're going to kind of do something like this and that. And you can do as many as you want across. I'm just looking through the little bits that I have here. Let's see if there's anything teeny tiny. Nothing super small. That's okay. I'm just going to get a little flower from my stash. Okay, so I have like these little, I got these at the dollar store. We're going to put that there, but before we do, we want a word. How about root and wing? Let's cut this down. Let's see how it fits after I cut it down. And you can use this smaller hole punch or you can use a bigger one. It doesn't matter. So that's going to go there. All right, so let's glue our circles down first. And try to hide my little mistake. Mistake, happy accident, call it what you will. Okay, so we just have a line of circles. Easy, right? Then we take our word and we put it here. And then we take our little accent piece, which could be anything, right? I'm using a flower, but it could be anything. It could be a little cutout of a fussy cut of a bird or a bug or something. A little ladybug would be fun. And then you glue this down on your page like a cluster. So there you go. Now, if you don't have a hole punch, you can use what I have, this big butterfly punch. Maybe you have a smaller something or other that you might want to use. Let's see, is this going to fit in this one? Ooh, it will. Okay, let's do this one. So this is going to make a bigger one, obviously, because our punch is bigger. This is an old EK Tools punch. I have had this probably for 15, 20 years. So I don't know if these are around anymore, but I'm sure you can find something very similar. Okay, and don't throw this away, because you could definitely put that down on a page, you know? I would. All right, and so now we take our butterflies and we do the same thing. I'm just going to align them a little different. So I'm kind of going to do something like this. Maybe we'll put this one in the middle. Like that. Just to give it a little something different. And I might even put it on a background. So let's see what we have here. Just to make it stand out. These are very blue. Okay, I have this. Maybe we'll do it this way. Yeah, that's fun. We can still get some, we can still get a word on here. And tear this if you'd like to. Trying to see. Yeah, let's add another little piece to this one. Do something like that. And then meadow. It's kind of big. Shelter, kindred, murmur. Wilding. Glade. Choose Glade. Not plugins. Yeah, we'll make it smaller because this is a small word and I think it'll fit better. All right, let's glue her all down. Actually, a little more. I'm just putting glue. I know I'm off camera, but I'm just gluing. And then maybe we'll put him there and we'll put Glade like over here. Put it down here too. Just audition your pieces before you glue them down and see what you like. There we go. So there's another one. A little piece of lace under here would look nice too. Let me see if I have one. Of course I have one somewhere. I have this little bit from my scrap drawer. Maybe I'll go this way. Hide that sewn part. I'll just kind of do something like that. All right, because it's lace, I am going to use my Fabrifix. There we go. It'll look really pretty down on a page, and you can even have it stick out of your page a little so that you see this little bit. But if you're going to do that, I would definitely kind of pretty up that, and then you could put something else on this side, maybe some washi and some numbers or something. But anyway, so that's that. All right, let me clean up my desk a little and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one's going to be a tag. And I'm just looking, or a journaling card rather, I'm sorry, a journaling card. I'm just looking for a background I like. Let's just use this one, the green. And usually make this a little sturdier with a piece of like coffee dyed paper on the other side. I did print on this one, but sometimes if you put a piece of this, it just gives it a little more sturdiness. Now, I did print all of these pieces on my Nina index weight cardstock. It's down in the description box below if you want to get the same one I use. So it's a little heavier weight than copy paper, but it's not like a super heavy duty copy weight. Cardstock weight. It's index weight. So if you think of like an index card, that's how it is. Really wish I had my other scissors. Actually, I have my gluey scissors. What? My gluey scissors. I have this catch in my throat and it's giving me a speech impediment. Okay, so it's just a little sturdier. And then I'm just gonna maybe we need to make it just a little thinner. There we go. I like that better. I am going to round my corners a little. So I'm just giving you a few examples, guys and gals, of just some things you can do with this kit. But as you can see, we have so many pieces, so I could probably go on for hours. We'll do a few more. I think I'll get a piece of washi maybe, but you could certainly use some of these strips too. Just trying to bring in some additional contrast. All right, let's just keep it simple. So I'm going to put this down, my little gessoed piece. So it's just a piece of corrugated cardboard that I tore some of the top off. See, it's this kind with the ridges. And I had this for a project last year. I had a bunch of scraps left over, so I keep trying to use them as much as I can. I'm going to kind of put that down. This works really good on if you make a master board and then you put this down, but I want to use the pieces of the kit. Now, I need something to go over it. Go for a flower. One seems too tall. This one might work. Let's see what else I got. Kind of like that one. I think I'm going to fussy cut it a little bit. Not a lot. All right, so I've cut it out, and I'm just going to ink up the outer edge a little, because you know, I'm an inker. All right, and that's going to sit on there. So let's glue this down. I'm going to use this because it's a little stronger. Now this does add some thickness if you're putting it in a journal, so just be aware of that. I feel like it needs just like something behind it small. Maybe we'll take the hole punch and punch out something in a little bit of a darker color. Since I have my hole punch out. We have some more of this. Let's see if this will work. You know what I mean? Just to kind of let you know that there's something there. Like that. There we go. That'll probably work. Just so it pops just a little bit. Let me glue this to that. Every alarm, the phone's ringing. Every time. I try to prep, but I can't. How do you prep for the phone ringing, you know? So, there we go. And then we can put a word up here. Wonder's fine as any, right? And then I have some more of this, so we'll put it on that background, and then that'll tie these two together. Actually, since these are here, let me use them. It's easier sometimes to cut a straight line for me when I have a bigger pair of scissors. Sometimes. All right, I'm just going to glue that down on here so it stands out a little bit. Let's put it here and then put a tab there. Let's do that instead. Good. And you can do tabs with just regular strips of paper too. Actually, we have some here. Can I get? Yeah, probably. Try to use up all the bits, right? See a little blue, but that's okay. And just fold it over like this. Put that up there. Let's ink it. and glue it. And I'm just going to put it a little kind of wonky. And let's see, where did all those little bits go? Here we go. Trying to see if there's anything else. Maybe a piece of, I have some vintage tape that I made. Maybe we'll just use a couple of pieces of this. Kind of like that. And then maybe over here, like that. There we go. And then you can journal on this side. All right. Let's do another reset quick. All right. Let me get another paper clip. We can do like a folded paper clip. Want another big one. This one's really super easy. Let's see. I want to use one of these. Yeah, that'll work. We'll cut it a little. All right, so I'm just going to fold it over, and it is going to sit on the paper clip. We're going to do one of this type of paper clip. So you'll just, there's one side, if you've never done this before, there's one side of the paper clip that doesn't have any breaks in it. See how this side has the break in it? You want the side, the long side that doesn't. And we just slide that over like that. Okay, but first I'm going to ink that top part because it's going to be hard to get to once I glue it on here. And some of this we might see. So these are, I don't know, are these 2-inch? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, 2-inch paper clips. Can do this side. All right, so we're going to slide this over and glue it. Just going to glue it down. Maybe we'll make it a flag. There we go. And, well, I took this piece out, but let's see. Do I have a smaller one? I can cut some of this off. Let's do that. Use the little birdie. Just looking through the other bits I have. Ooh, maybe we'll use this one. It's the little postage stamp one. Needs something under it. All right, maybe this piece. Just kind of do that. We still have a bunch. I think it needs to be a little thinner. Yeah, we'll just do something like that. And you can certainly put something on the other side as well. See, super easy. You guys can definitely do this all day long. You can do it. You can do it. I know you can. They're so simple. And that's why I made these kits, because I just wanted you to have a bunch of bits you could grab and play with. So there's On the Farm and the Fairies, the real Fae one. And then we have this one now. Yeah, I guess I should have put it on the other side, but this would go on this side of the page. So there you go. You could also put a word, but I like it is. Let's just do some of that for the other side, and there you go. You can make a bunch of these. So that's that one. And make quite a mess for that one. All right. Okay, let's try this. This one's going to be fun too. We need like a square. All right, so I'm going to use this big piece, but again, actually I can use one of these smaller pieces. Let's use this one. This one's pretty. I'm just going to make and fold an envelope. Get some of these scraps out of here. Ooh, 3.5, so let's go 3.5. I don't want to lose too much. All right, so the piece is going to be about 3.5 by 3.5. Haven't done one in a while, so. And then we need to turn it into an envelope. So I know that there's an easier way to do this, but this is what we're doing. Just gonna. And then these will be our sides. And then top or bottom. Let's make it the bottom. And so you see I folded it up, like not on that. I went up a little. And then this piece, I'm just going to fold back and cut off. So we're just making an envelope. Can certainly just wrap it around and glue it. All right, let's ink. I'm just going to round this like that. Okay, I'm going to glue this. And now you just fill it. You just fill it with some bits. That's it. Super easy. So let's find some ones that will stick out. That one won't. This one will. So it becomes like a little pocket, except for your little bits. So let's do this one. And if you have some dried flowers, that would be fun. I think I have some, so I might grab those. You will see this side. So like that. Gonna get some dried flowers. I always have bits of status because we're always getting flowers around here. And I just save them. Let me get just something to wrap them with. I'm going to use a little piece of washi. And I can cut some of it off. Now you can spray it with hairspray if you don't want it coming apart. So we can kind of tuck that in there and then we can put a word on it. How about, what is this? Quietude. Hushed. How about hushed? Ooh. Yeah, I still can't cut a straight line. In case anybody was wondering, I still cannot cut a straight line. That has not changed. You just do that. And then you just put this in your journal or on a cover. This would be cute on a cover. And there you go. Super simple, right? Okay. One more and then we're done. All right, so we'll just do something simple. We'll do like a little mini journal cover. Why don't we do that? And then I can fill it inside with, we'll just do a little mini notebook / journal. I'll get some papers. I'm just gonna cut them. I just kind of eyeballed them where I want the papers to go. You know, what size I want them. I just want them to be a slightly smaller than the cover. And I'm just grabbing 2 random pieces of coffee dyed paper, but you could certainly use, you know, any paper you have in your stash. So these will fit in there. And I'm just going to sew them down the middle. You could stitch them in or just wrap a piece of twine. So just, you would put this in here and then just wrap a piece of twine. No sewing involved. You just tie it into a knot at that point. Make yourself a nice little fun mini journal that you can put your ephemera in. And we'll do the outside. Oh, I need a line down the, well, let me put my papers in first and then I'll do the line. Because I need to see where I'm stitching. I cannot stitch a straight line without a guide. I don't know if you guys are the same. And when you're stitching, if you are going to stitch these in with a sewing machine, make your stitches bigger, because if you make them really small, then you're pretty much perforating the paper and they're more likely to tear out. So this is what I mean. I need like a guide here. So when I put it in my machine, I know what to follow. And I'll just do this so it doesn't move. And I'll be right back. I'm just going to stitch this in with, I think I'm going to use like a 5 on my machine or a 4. We'll see which one. Okay. All right. So there we go with that. Now we can, if you know your stitching is as horrible as mine, you can kind of take a piece of this and wrap it around the outside. Yours is probably not as horrible as mine. Okay, and then I will just fold this in half. And just get some of the white off the edges. And then we will glue it on the spine to cover up those stitches. Can't cover it up on the inside, really. We're just going to have to live with it. Here we go. And then, because otherwise you'll get that bump, right? That bumpy bump. Like that. All right, and so we have that, and then we can do a little cover action. I love this field mouse. What else? Oh, the crow. Hello, little birdie. Oh, the owl. Could cut some of him off. Let's do Mr. Owl. How many legs does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Do that. And I'm going to leave the edges, the corners squared because these are squared. And I'm not going to go rounding them off, but you could. And what else do I have? Oh, I have these tickets. Seek magic in the mundane. How about we put maybe not. I think I'll just add a stitch down the side here. Just to add a little interest. Or a strip of washi tape would work too. If you don't sew, just put a little strip of thin washi. And then we'll do this fun little quote right down here. And then you got a little mini journal with a cover, and it was super easy, right? You are totally going to be able to do this. I know you can. Oop, not upside down. Don't be silly. This would be fun in like a little field notes journal. I don't think yeah, I did. There we go. And you can dress it up more, add your own style and things like that. But guys, what? We did so much. Let's pull them all out and look at them. And then you can make multiples of the same thing, right? Trying to make room. Okay. Dropping stuff. All right. So we got our tag. We got our little envelope. We have our paper clip. We have this big notebook, our fun cluster, this hidden paper clip that slides over the edge of your page, and this pocket. And we didn't take a lot of time at all. And this other little kind of word. I love it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you are going to try these, you don't need to get this kit to do it. You can just use the scraps that are in your stash now, and it'll work perfectly fine. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, you might want to consider subscribing if you enjoy stuff like this. I'm trying to get up to 50,000 subscribers this year, guys. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It would be really great to have you all here. for my 50,000 celebration, which I'm a far away from, but I can dream, can I? All right, guys, I hope I see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day or night. Bye! Ooh, inky hands.